We're back on our All-Stars 4 bullshit, and today we're doing a double feature. What if All-Stars 4 queens had to lip-sync for the crown, and what if All-Stars 4 had the queens vote for the top 2? As you can assume from the two titles, this is going to be very loosely based in reality, so there will be a lot of guessing going on. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we're doing here today, so let's get into it right away. Well, this first one of lip-syncing for the crown is a very tough one. Here we have 4 great lip-sync performers. How I did this the first time in this video is that I looked at the 3 possible semi-final matchups in this format, where A, B, C, and D represent the 4 queens in the top 4, and then from each of those, guessing who'd beat whom in a lip-sync. Then when we get to the final 2 lip sync, we compare the PP scores of the top 2 queens, and the one with the higher score wins. Now, this is just factual, that's how they've done it in seasons 9, 10, and 11, yes, 11 as well, cause even though Brooke's PP score was higher than Evie's, Brooke lip synced for her life twice, so she couldn't have won the season regardless. This rule of being up for elimination more than once doesn't really apply on All-Stars due to the different format, and due to the fact that sometimes the queens that are up for elimination are there just by default. As I've said, there are 3 different ways the queens can lip sync in the semifinals, but because and again, we have 4 strong competitors, so we have to do this another way. Now, we need to create a table. Now here are the queen's PP scores. Just by the way, we'll calculate these PP scores by adding up the points they earn each episode, except for episode 6, because that was just a direct continuation of episode 5, and not all queens that could compete competed, and then we divide the overall scores with the amount of competitive episodes these queens were in, so 8. What I'm doing is basically looking at every possible pair that could appear in the final lip sync, comparing the 2 queens' PP scores, and the one with the higher score would win the season. Of course, this method ignores the possibility of there being a double shantay in one of the semi-final lip syncs, which would result in a 3-way lip sync in the finale, but don't you worry, we will be looking at that as well. But let's first do this table here. So first we eliminate the duplicates, and then also each queen can't lip sync against oneself. Monet and Monique lip syncing in the finale would result in Monique winning, given that her PP score is higher than Monet's. Monet's is higher than Naomi's, so she beats Naomi, but loses to Trinity. Given that Naomi has the lowest PP score out of the top 4, she never wins, and Monique's PP score is below Trinity's, so Trinity wins. When it comes to 3-way lip syncs, there are 4 possible combinations, each without one of the top 4 girls. In 3 out of the 4 cases, Trinity would be the winner, while in the situation where she doesn't make it into the final lip sync, Monique would win the season. So, out of the possible 10 outcomes of the semi-final lip syncs, Trinity wins 6 times out of 10, Monique 3 times out of 10, and Monet only once. We also could talk about the criticism that Rue got for the Hall of Fame being 3 white queens prior to All-Stars 4, and that with Trinity doing the best, she would have been the 4th one, which would have been bad because the "May the best woman win" tagline should be loosely interpreted, I guess? I can already see someone typing, but Monet technically won the final challenge in the last episode. I mean, she didn't. Like, those challenges never mattered. They're there to fill time until we get to the crowning of usually the obvious winner of any season, and why am I adding all this to the video? Well, because in the situation of lip syncing for the crown, maybe the production would have done anything and everything to have Trinity not be in that final lip sync, just to, again, ensure no more backlash. The second possible finale format for All-Stars 4 is the one we're gonna borrow from All-Stars 3, voting for the top 2. Now, this one is literally just all guessing, with some minimal idea of who each of the eliminated queens would vote for, so this part of the video please take with the greatest grain of salt possible. Here's what I'm thinking. Oh, wait, actually, let's keep the table. Tables are fun. Let's do the obvious ones first. Gia has, on numerous occasions, said that she wanted Trinity to win. So I'd say she gives her 2 points and then 1 point to Naomi for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like Gia would respect Naomi after their lip sync, and then also Monique with her association with Monet and then their whole thing in episode 2 wouldn't get any votes from Gia, and we know Gia's feelings towards Monet, so I'd say that I'm 100% right with this one. The rest is going to be guessing games all over. I would say that Jasmine would give 2 points also to Trinity, even though she eliminated Jasmine, because Jasmine knows it's a game and it's irrelevant at the end of the day, while 1 point I guess she'd give Monique. I don't know, Jasmine seems like she'd do the right thing and vote for the top 2 best queens. Farah, let's say that she'd give 2 points to Trinity as well because they're from the same season, and then 1 point to Monique because she defended her against Gia. Valentina would probably give herself 3 points, then they would explain to her that that's not what she's supposed to do, and then I guess she would vote similarly to Farah. I mean, 2 points for Trinity, again, because they're from the same season, and Trinity was kinda by Valentina's side in episode 3 when Manila thought about eliminating her, and then maybe 1 point to Naomi just because of Club 96. I feel like Manila wouldn't hold it against Naomi for eliminating her, but she'd hold it against Trinity and Monique for eliminating Latrice, because she reacted more to Latrice getting eliminated and herself getting eliminated. And yes, I know how ridiculous this sounds, but I fully have no other idea how the voting would have gone. So let's say 1 point for Monet and 2 points for Naomi. Fuck it. I know that this doesn't make sense because both of them chose Manila's lipstick and she would have found out about it somehow, but like, who cares? Latrice seemed to dislike all of them, more or less, except for maybe Naomi, so she'd give Naomi 2 points, and then maybe 1 point to Trinity. Sure, let's go with that. So, as you can see, Trinity and Naomi would have been the top 2 in this scenario, and there are 2 possible outcomes here. The first one is that Trinity wins solo, but the more probable one is that there would have been a double crowning with Trinity and Naomi, leaving Monique to be the robbed queen of All Stars 4 yet again. Wow, this was exhausting. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the outro.